Welcome back to the Lady Dicks podcast. That was
Hello.
weird. I'm your host, Tay, and these are my co-hosts, Nikki and Andrea.
Hola.
Hi, guys.
We are back for we're back for season 3. I just don't know if I can edit this to be the second episode. This is originally supposed to be the second episode. If I can edit it tonight, I will, and put it out tomorrow, because I'd rather put it out tomorrow because that's what we referenced. But I'm not sure when this is going out, so really sorry if you're expecting this to be the second one. Regardless, we're doing a close to hometown haunt, the Ghost Train of Medicine Hat, along with a few other haunts in the area to entice your visit to Canada's sunniest city. But before we do, we have a few housekeeping matters to discuss.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How are ya? Doing great.
Nikki here.
So good.
We're glad you didn't ghost us. Obviously, we're back.
Yay!
And tackling.
Yes.
Oh, I'm having a day.
We're just knocking it down.
Yeah. We're tackling a brand new episode, obviously. That's why you're here. That's why we're here talking to you. We cover ghouls, ghosts, and mysteries, and sometimes a little bit of crime. Sometimes it's purely crime. Yes.
That was the one time, just once.
Sometimes it's a good old haunt. Sometimes it's a good old crime or gang-related.
Sometimes it's an axe murderer.
Anyways, we're obviously not covering that today, but if you don't think these topics that we just briefly touched on go with comedy, then we'll kindly ask you to press that pause button and head to a podcast where they take their shit just a little more seriously, because we do not.
No.
Bye, guys.
Hello.
That was quite the hi. She's very excited to talk to you.
No, I said bye, guys.
Oh, bye, guys. I thought you said hi, guys.
No. But now I'm going to say,
Wow.
Hey, guys. Andrea here. We also don't recommend this podcast for little ears. And by little ears, we mean children and not adults with small ears. You guys are cool with us.
Yay. The Lady Dicks podcast is an independent podcast. You've heard us say it before, but that just basically means it's funded by yours truly and my bank account. Not only that, but we do all of the research, writing, editing, publishing, promoting, blah, 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 and basically anything that goes into a podcast by ourselves, which we tell you just to let you know that we're not amazing. This isn't NPR, so get out of here if that's what you think it is. We're not perfect. If you have suggestions for us, we please ask you to email them to us at stories@ladydicks.com. Don't include them in your 1-star review. First of all, if you leave a 1-star review, I'm going to think you're a huge dick. And I'm probably going to tell people about that. And second of all, I'm not going to read it anyway, so whatever. You're good.
Yeah. And also we like story recommendations too. So
Yay.
that could be fun if you have something you want us to cover.
Please do.
'Cause-
All of the ones that have been recommended to us, which haven't been that many, but they're all included on our list, I think, for this year. So
Eventually we will get to them. If you're waiting and every week
They'll
you're
be
just like,
coming
I
after,
wonder if
like-
they're doing my recommendation.
they're coming after the Christmas break, because some of them are like, I don't know, some things to me are warmer, like,
Oh, not so
you know
like,
what I mean? Like, they're beachy or they're
It's not
nightclubby.
winter.
Or like, yeah, it's winter is like, I want classic haunts and like spooky, whatever.
And summer, you want like sexy beachy haunts?
Yeah, I want bound chicka wow wow.
like the
With,
Doll
the-
Island.
Yeah, the Doll Island is coming this spring, summer.
Nice.
Yay.
And if you want to support our little podcast, there are a few things that you can do. You can give us a 5-star rating, obvi, and tell us who your favorite Hollywood Chris is in whatever podcasting app you like, or you don't have to say anything at all. Just
True.
give us a 5-star rating so other
You don't
people can
have
find
to.
us and we can reach new people.
Yep.
We're always looking to broaden our range.
Yep.
Share the podcast with someone you think would love it. a family member, a lover, a coworker,
I'm into that.
anyone, your dog walker. Like,
Yeah, she probably would really like it.
yeah. I mean, she needs
And,
something to listen to
yeah,
while she's walking your dog.
She
Or
needs
he
something.
is walking your dog.
I'm assuming it's a she. Let's be honest.
Let's not be sexist here. Come on.
I'm gonna be sexist here. I assume it's a she.
Probably. I'm not gonna lie.
I
will
assume
agree with
Kate,
you on
your
that.
dog walker is a chick,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. And you can sign yourself up on our mailing list at theladydicks.com. If you have a little cash you want to throw our way, you can also head to our merch shop and get yourself a t-shirt or a mug. Or if you don't want to buy any of that crap, because let's be real, I don't either, but you have an extra $20 burning a hole in your pocket, you can send us a one-time donation on PayPal at stories@theladydicks.com.
And before we get started, I'm just going to tell you where we've got full sourcing information. And a lot of the time, if we don't have like a main source, I don't put it at the beginning. However, the first story for this about the train came from the Great Canadian Ghost Stories by Barbara Smith. It's actually a really cool book, and it has a ton of great Canadian ghost stories. Go figure. So weird. And then we also use some stuff from coldspot.org because they've got a lot of like submitted great Canadian ghost stories, and we couldn't find any actual ghost stories. We found actual ghost stories. We couldn't find any like from other places. That was weird. In any case, if you are interested in finding our sources, you can go to the Medicine Hat episode on theladydicks.com. That's where all our sourcing information is. If you want to read the Great Canadian Ghost Stories, you can go to The Spooky Traveler and look on the bookshelf because it's there. There's a link to it. If you buy the book from that link, we get a little kickback of like 20 cents, but I don't care. It totally counts. If 10 of you buy that book and we get 20 cents, we get $2, which covers like not a whole month of hosting, but it covers something. The coffee that we need to get up early in the morning, whatever. Anyway.
Or the monster.
Yeah, or the monster. Haven't had one.
Or the little bit of Bailey's shots that we need in our coffee to actually get going.
True story.
Yeah.
If I have Bailey's in my coffee, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
Anyway, yeah, you can find all of that information online, and there's links in the show notes to virtually everything.
Medicine Hat is a Canadian city located in southern Alberta along the South Saskatchewan River. It's 295 kilometers southeast of Calgary and takes 3 hours to get there, pending you're following traffic laws or you're not driving on winter roads with all-season tires.
Like me.
I do too, but
It's not a great idea, guys.
Yeah, not great.
for me, it's okay.
For me, it's not.
No.
In 1883, the Canadian Pacific Railway reached what is now known as Medicine Hat. The CPR built a bridge over the South Saskatchewan River and built a town site, which held the first hospital west of Winnipeg, which is over 1,000 kilometers away. The town of Medicine Hat was first incorporated on October 31st, 1898, with its official city title coming on May 9th, 1906. And its name has a bit of a spooky story itself. The name Medicine Hat comes from the Blackfoot term Samis. Is that how we were saying
we were
it?
having problems.
Yeah.
I like Samis. Samis or Samis?
Samis, maybe. I think.
Let's go with Samis.
Which, for the life of us, we couldn't find the actual pronunciation of, as just demonstrated.
So we might just be making it up.
I did try. It's on your line, but whatever. I did try the online Blackfoot dictionary. I tried Googling like YouTube videos of it. Nothing.
And Samis refers to the headdress of eagle feather worn by a medicine man. While that seems pretty straightforward, there's a creepy origin story. According to legend, the Blackfoot Nation was suffering from a terrible famine. The hungry tribe, desperate for a miracle, selected a courageous warrior to head out and find food. Dedicated to the tribe and honored for the opportunity, this warrior, his wife, and their dog set out in search of food, traveling down the frozen South Saskatchewan River.
I would like to point out that dogs are clearly man's best friend.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see no cat setting out with him to search for food.
Now.
I don't like cats.
Me neither.
I think we know that already.
Just in case anyone didn't know that.
Cats are disgusting.
True story.
That's just my personal opinion.
Amen, sister.
They're also living creatures that a lot of people have as pets and love. So
Yeah, not me.
Not I.
They came across a spot where there was a hole in the ice, which was said to be a sign of a sacred place where the water spirits breathed and made camp. Okay, whatevs. A giant
Totally
serpent
legit.
rose from the water. This also sounds totally legit. So when they summoned the spirits, this giant serpent rose from the water. Also doesn't sound like they were doing drugs. And demanded the warrior's wife as a sacrifice in exchange for a samis or holy bonnet, which would endow the owner with special powers and great hunting prowess.
Yay! That's what everyone wants.
Well, I think in that period of time, that probably would have been a huge
True story.
asset.
That's
war-
what his Tinder would have said. Great hunting prowess.
The warrior loved his wife and couldn't bear to part with her, so he tried to trick the spirit by sacrificing the dog and his dog instead. That also doesn't
the
make
poor
you
dog.
a very good guy in my books.
No.
This naturally pissed off the serpent. He ain't no fool. So the warrior gave up and tossed his wife in the hole. D-bag.
Not great.
With his wife's sacrifice, the warrior was instructed to spend the night on the small island, and in the morning, when the sun lights the cut banks, go to the base of the Great Cliffs. There he would find his medicine hat. Aided by the magic of the Samis, the warrior managed to capture the game and bring it back to his people. He saved the day and eventually became known as the Medicine Man. The spot on the river where the hole in the ice was located is apparently where Medicine Hat is now located.
It was late spring, nope. It was late spring in 1908 when Bob Toohey and Gus Day were working in the Canadian Pacific Railroad rail yard in Medicine Hat. Toohey was an engineer and Gus a stoker or fireman, and their assignment was to take the train from Medicine Hat to Dunmore, where they were instructed to switch engines and crews with the Spokane Flyer. The route was to take them along a winding track along the city's coulee, which is simply a deep ravine, which is now inside the Medicine Hat city limit, like today. But at that time, it was outside of it. The trip was going swimmingly until out of nowhere, a train blinded the two...
Train light. Train light. Not just a train blinded. It was a train light.
The trip was going swimmingly until out of nowhere, a train light blinded the two CPR workers. They were on a collision course with another train. Paralyzed and without time to bail, the pair stood and watched as the oncoming train blasted its warning whistle, rushing towards them. But in a strange and eerie silence, the oncoming train veered slightly off path and the trains passed safely. I should also note that there wasn't a track where they veered to. Just want to throw that out there. As the train passed the stunned CPR workers, the passengers and the crew of the mystery train waved. Then the train simply vanished. Shaken and unsure of what they saw, Toohey and Day agreed to say nothing about what they saw because, well,
who would believe them?
No one's going to believe them.
Yeah.
A few days later, as the pair wandered the city's downtown, Toohey confessed that he wasn't able to stop thinking about the incident. So much so that he'd gone to see a fortune teller. She had told him that while he was in perfect health, he would be dead within a month, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
Frightened, Toohey...
They're also not supposed to tell you that kind of stuff.
Well, she was not a very good one. She did not take the professional fortune teller's code of ethics course seriously.
She was just being honest.
She was. Would you want to know?
No.
I think only if there was a way I could avoid it.
I'm pretty sure you can.
If they said, stay away from the train yard.
Like, don't go to work.
Yeah.
Or you'll be
Basically,
dead.
Get a new job.
Yeah.
Like,
quit
right
your
now.
job and move to a different city or something to keep you away from
True
that.
story. But don't leave the train. Frightened, Toohey told Day that he had arranged to stay in the yard for the rest of the month, which seems fair. Day was either unmoved or just carried a few extra pairs of underwear on him because on his next shift, he gladly took the same assignment. You're right. Meet with the Spokane Flyer in Dunmore, switch engines and crews. Toohey's engineering position was taken over by James Nicholson, and the two went on their merry little way. Day must have been terrified when later that night at the same spot, those same warning blasts came, with headlights rushing towards them. Day and Nicholson were speechless, but as it had before, the phantom train veered off the collision path just in time, the crew and passengers waving as it went by before disappearing. After the second incident, Day was relieved to learn that a few days later, when he returned to work, Harry Thompson would be taking his position as fireman on the regular route with engineer James Nicholson. Nicholson and Thompson were trucking along when, around the same spot, a warning blast was heard. The lights on an oncoming train were rushing towards them at an alarming rate. Nicholson, who had played this game before, ignored the train, but Thompson wasn't taking any chances. At the last second, Thompson bailed, jumping clear of the coal train he'd been working on. On July 9th, 1908, passenger train 514 out of Lethbridge, Alberta, crashed into an outbound locomotive heading for exchange in Dunmore, approximately 2 miles outside of Medicine Hat. Bob Toohey was the engineer on passenger train 514. He, along with 7 passengers, were killed. I would like to point out that Bob Toohey was originally on the other train, and then he switched. Thankful that he didn't have to be in that position, only to die in a different train. The crash killed 11 people in total, including James Nicholson, the engineer on the westbound locomotive. The only survivor of this head-on crash was CPR firefighter Harry Thompson, who survived only because he jumped from the train immediately prior to the collision. So, was it a ghost train that the 4 CPR employees saw, or a phantom warning?
Ooh.
I love that story. I mean, I don't love it because people die in the end.
Yeah.
But it's super creepy.
But it's like a classic ghost story.
Mm-hmm. In an attempt to find more than one Medicine Hat area ghost story for this episode.
15-minute episode.
Yeah.
All right,
And
we're done.
You're welcome.
Yay.
We went snooping around Reddit and found a few paranormal related comments that were official, quote, ghost stories, weren't official ghost stories, but we figured might be fun to share with you anyways. For our first unofficial research endeavor, Reddit user Ramondo, with a J-O at the end,
we're gonna go with that,
said, quote, the address of the hospital is 666. I swear the lower tunnels of that place are haunted. So this is obviously the Medicine Hat Hospital.
Yes.
As it turns out, the Medicine Hat Regional Hospital is actually located at 666 5th Street Southwest.
Such a terrible address.
So Tay did a tad bit of digging, because I personally did not, and actually found one ghost story from the hospital on a website called coldspot.org. The, quote, ghost report is written or provided, it's a tad bit unclear, by a Mike that appears to have been part of the security guard at the hospital. Mike said that he couldn't remember the date or time, just that the story took place over 2 decades ago, sometime in the 90s between the hours of 12 and 6 a.m., which, if you ask me, is actually pretty decent recall of when it happened.
I would say.
All right, cute, creepy background music.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say that.
I know.
I need to figure out if I can find the background music, because I couldn't find it before.
Oh. Mike was doing a security sweep on level 5 of the Rehab Support Service building on the hospital's west end to, quote, prevent theft from keeping transients from settling in one of the dark corners of the many empty rooms. The floor he described was semi-abandoned, used mostly for storage, and a, quote, room dedicated to diabetes education service.
I feel like I included way too much detail.
You're
just
welcome.
welcome.
Trying to make it a longer episode.
I just wanted to cover my bases, guys.
You guys will get the full story here.
You're going to know
today.
What was happening in what room at any point in history. Just kidding. You won't.
However, prior to the abandonment of the floor, it housed the pediatrics unit. Mike entered from the east side and moved towards the west, quote, checking every locked door and every nook and cranny to ensure there wasn't anyone in the area. So far, so good. That is until he entered the last room, when out of the corner of his eye, he saw someone standing in the hallway just beyond the threshold of the door. Adrenaline kicked in as Mike realized there was a child standing there staring at him. Then suddenly, it was gone. He convinced himself it was a hallucination due to being tired. Even so, he re-wandered the hallway to check again but found nothing. He laughed the incident off with some other staff members who assured him that no child passed in that particular room. That is until a senior staffer asked him to repeat his story. Instead of a chuckle, once he'd finished retelling his story, the nurse confirmed that a child did die in that wing after a particularly heartbreaking story. She knew this was true because she was on duty when it happened. Skeptical, Mike and the nurse returned to the floor where she took him to the same room in the northwest corner of the ward he'd been in when he'd seen the child. She further provided a description of the child which matched what Mike had seen. This floor, according to Mike, was, quote, eventually totally demolished and rebuilt to its modern state, which sounds like the floor itself still exists. It's just been gutted and redone. So who knows about the current status of ghosts? But he did note that this incident was only one of the many strange things that happened within the walls of the Medicine Hat Regional Hospital. If you want to read Mike's whole story, check out coldspot.org. The direct link to that page can be found on this page, episode page on theladydexes.com.
True story.
So that's pretty creepy. Like hospitals, like abandoned floors,
Creepy.
like in any kind of like hospital or mental institution or whatever it might be, creep the fuck out of me.
Yeah. They're creepy.
I mean, I'd like to go on a tour of one day, but it's still creepy.
I don't know about that. Medicine Hat College was founded in 1965. To date, it has about 2,500 students per year, and in 1987, Tammy was one of them. Her story also comes from coldspot.org. It's called, quote, True Ghost Story, a hooded black figure at the end of the bed.
I like how she just puts it all
That
out
is
there.
such a creative title.
It's
It tells you...
She tells you, it's like this is an SEO-based title. She tells you exactly what you're going to do. It's got some keywords in it, like ghost. Wait, did it have ghost in it?
Well,
no.
I feel like
Never
she...
mind.
Yeah,
no, it
True
did.
Ghost
True
Story.
Ghost Story.
Yes, it did.
I feel like she especially... She didn't even need to tell the story after that.
Nope. We know exactly what's going to happen.
But according to her submitted story, Tammy was attending college, living in the dorms, and for the first few days, things were very, quote, very normal. But within the first week, she had a terrible nightmare. She said, in my dream, I had seen a hooded black figure at the end of the bed. When she woke up, she told her roommate, who admitted that she, too, had dreamt the same thing.
That's creepy.
The weeks progressed, and as they did, strange things started to happen. Tammy said that while it was fine throughout the rest of the room, the power would cut in their room in the middle of the night. Lights would flicker, and one night, the cord to one of the lights was actually disconnected. The pair started finding children's clothes lying about their room, even when they swore they locked the door.
Okay, that's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
One sec. There you go. You're good.
Tammy said that one day she was coming up the stairs and saw her roommate working at the desk with the door open. She greeted her with, "Hey, roomie," but as she approached the door, it slammed in her face.
Wow, that bitch.
I know. How rude.
So rude. So rude.
The pair were incredibly nervous by now. So they spoke to previous tenants of the room, and as it turns out, they formerly held seances in the room because it was the biggest room in the dorm, but had to stop when strange things started to happen to them.
Oopsies.
Tammy said that eventually her and her roommate had a priest come in twice to exorcise the room.
I feel like that's not going to work.
Maybe. I don't know. It didn't say anything afterwards.
I'd be like, bitch, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
I'm getting a
done.
switch.
I'm done.
Bye.
In another story that we found on coldspot.org submitted by Jesse, it appears that the Ogilvy, you're right. Ogilvy flour mill might be haunted. Since it's a short story, I'm just going to read it as is. Jesse says, "It's not so much what has happened to me as what's happened in this place. It used to be an old mill and is a bar in one part. There are many stories of people that were killed there and now, and I have some pictures to show that. In one photo, you can see 3 other faces. In another photo, there is a very cruel-looking face bearing white teeth and blank eyes." Creepy. Mm-hmm. "When you are in the bar, sometimes when there are little or no people in the bar, things move, and it sounds like people working or moving around. and slamming down heavy objects. What's interesting about this is, according to our research, the city's first cemetery, which doesn't exist anymore since it's been moved, was located either right by or on the grounds that currently holds the closed Ogilvy flour mill. And in case you Ogilvy flour mill, and in case you are going to Medicine Hat, the bar that he's referring to, I believe, is the Silver Buckle, which has a killer deal.
Oh yeah, you've talked about this before.
On the last episode, that when we originally recorded this, but it's like the steak sandwich, like the $5 steak sandwich deal or whatever. It's awesome. It's killer.
Well, if you're not, I guess, getting hauntings because you're on an old Indian burial ground, you're next to or near a cemetery.
Yeah, creepy.
So that's a thing that happens.
Creepy, creepy, creepy.
So I can see that being legit-ish. Though I don't believe in ghosts, so I don't know.
You never know, man.
You never know, I guess. I could be proven wrong one day.
One day.
In another Reddit-spurred Google investigation, user Ev the Rev
Nice. Love it.
posted that, quote, I was out at the Coaldale mine
Coal mine.
I was out at the old coal mine in Eckodale today, and they have creepy fucking mannequins in there. It's got a little history to go along with it. Unfortunately, we couldn't actually find anything to do with the Eckodale coal mine. Not even anything to prove that it actually
I'm sure
exists.
It did. I just couldn't find anything.
It's just
about
probably
it on
not
Google.
well known enough to actually
I'm
be
sure it was closed
Googleable.
a long time ago.
Yeah. This is not to be confused with the Atlas coal mine in the Canadian Badlands, which is haunted according to local lore.
This is the one that I would like to go as, like this summer with with even just our phones and do video.
Well, I mean, the cameras on phones nowadays are pretty fucking
They're
rad.
pretty killer,
so
and we could easily do something cool.
Oh yeah. We will be covering this story later in the year, hopefully when we can actually go visit it ourselves, because that would be super exciting.
Yeah.
So stay tuned and get excited, because the Badlands has some amazingly creepy history.
What I'd like to do is just do a little budget and see how much like we need for tickets and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just so I can see, and then we can go down there.
Well,
Even
we're going to
if we
finish
did-
early. We should look at it now.
Yeah, that's true. While we're packing stuff up. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
on
that
the
would be pretty cool to go see and whatnot. But that's the Eckodale coal mine. Yeah, there isn't really much about it, but it would be cool to know if it actually still like has old signs up or something, even if it's closed down, or
I totally like
if
to
it's like
look.
if it's like
'Cause
chained
I'm one of
off
those
or
people.
do not enter, no trespassing.
True.
Well, I'd probably still climb the fence. So.
As long as it wasn't electric.
Coal mine, so
Well, I wouldn't. Don't go in it. I just
No.
would look around the outside.
Go,
of
yeah,
it.
but get close to the entrance and like,
Look at the boarded up entrance.
I wouldn't actually go in because I'm claustrophobic. So if no one else is in there, I ain't going in.
No,
That's just too creepy
the
for
Atlas
me.
coal mine you can actually go into, but they take you on tours though.
Okay, that's fine.
Like it's tours and there's safety equipment and whatever.
Yeah. See, that I could do. Going into
And
an
you don't
abandoned
necessarily-
one?
I
Nuh-uh.
think you only go into like a little bit of the mine, and what you're actually looking at is the mine, like how the mine brings the coal out.
Yeah, how it works, like maps and whatever,
infrastructure
and
No, like you can go look at the rolly thing.
the carts,
Yeah.
the trolleys, whatever you want to call them.
That's what it's the mine cart. They're
the
called
things
mine
on
cart, aren't
wheels.
they? Anyway,
Cart on
I
wheels?
think they're called mining cars, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think you're
probably.
correct.
If these creepy stories have enticed you to visit the lovely city of Medicine Hat, a gem of the Canadian prairies, then we have a few tips and tricks for planning your Medicine Hat vacation.
And we laugh because we do not
It's not
It's
like the most
prestigious.
popular vacation destination.
Yeah.
Is what we'll say.
There's better places out there, I feel.
But I mean, if you're in there for another reason, let's say,
Yeah, check it out.
Like you have a family thing that happens to, you have a long lost aunt in Medicine Hat. I don't know why, or your business is doing business with Medicine Hat Gas Company, or your retired husband or boyfriend wants to golf in Medicine Hat, I don't even know if they have good golfing there. If you find yourself in Medicine Hat.
Yes.
For whatever reason, I don't know why you could possibly want to go there, since most of our listeners are in Chicago. Or in the U.S., rather.
You're not going to want to go, trust me.
Yeah.
But if you happen to be there.
And to actually get to Medicine Hat in the first place, you'll likely be driving, as it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And what I can say is that they have lots of like places you can stop and eat and like
it's like
buy
a pass-through place. Is what it is.
Yeah. It's on the Trans-Canada Highway, so you pass through.
So if you gotta
get
go
what
pee,
you need,
like you can stop
move,
there,
and you move along to your final
That's
destination.
probably the most likely. If you come up to Canada and you're doing like a cross-Canada road trip, and
That's
you're on the number one, you might find yourself in Medicine Hat because it's kind of a stopover. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm not sure where we got to.
Whatever.
Something about you'll likely be driving because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Beautiful.
But you can also take a connecting flight from the major Canadian cities, including Vancouver, Calgary, or even Toronto, and it's actually not terribly expensive. Once you're there, you'll probably want to get yourself a rental car because the city's kind of spread out and their transit sucks. #sorry, not sorry.
The Medicine Hat Lodge is by far the best hotel to stay at when you're in Medicine Hat. I've spent many a days hanging out at their pool.
Just hangs in.
And even staying over a few times. You can
at
get
the
a
Hat
room
pool.
for as cheap as $90 a night.
Woo!
But during busier times, it gets a tad bit pricier. It has a killer water slide and pool area, plus, I believe, a casino bar, which might also be a nightclub. I don't know.
That's where I'd be at.
The Medicine Hat Lodge has an overall rating of 3.5 out of TripAdvisor, with most commenting that they enjoyed their stay. The food was good and the service was great, but honestly, the hotel's a bit dated and could be used a refresher, which I will echo. That is very true. But not everyone liked their time here. In their 1-star review, Woody99 said, "Unreal filth, broken lights, window would not shut, and broken screen. Don't forget the sink that would not drain. The stainless mattresses."
Stained.
Sorry. The stained mattresses. I was doing so good, too. The stained mattresses, sheets that would not stay on. This feels like a poem. Sheets that would not stay on, exposing all the stains on the mattress. And some kind of lotion substance all over the desk leg.
Honey, that ain't lotion.
Carpet throughout the hotel, especially the room were heavily stained and had strong odor. I stayed here last
No
year
wonder what that's from.
and felt it needed a second chance and has only gotten worse. Don't let the water slide fool you into staying. Go somewhere else. So, you've been warned.
Do you
Awkward.
really want to expose your children to that?
It's actually
No.
not that bad. It's super dated.
He just got a really bad room that clearly was not
Apparently,
cleaned
he
at all.
was like some sort of poet wannabe who got a really shitty room.
You probably exaggerated a little bit. Let's be real.
Maybe a
If you
little
have
bit.
a bad experience, you tend to
It's like
exaggerate a little
everything
bit.
is bad.
Yeah. So yeah, there's
It's your
that.
turn.
So the best time to visit
Yeah.
to visit Medicine Hat is in the summer. Otherwise, you might encounter a little bit of unwanted snow. Yes, including in the spring and the fall. In fact, based on the average weather temperature, Champion Traveler states that the best time to visit is between June 18th and September 30th. #true. And make sure to bring your sunscreen because it's based on the Canadian prairies and there isn't a lot of tree cover and it is hot, like dry hot here.
Yeah, dry.
It's not humid.
Yeah. It's not a nice beach hot. It's like a stifling hot that makes you feel like you're constantly walking on like asphalt
Yeah.
everywhere.
With bare feet.
Yeah. Even the sand isn't nice to stand in at man-made beaches.
My favorite kind of beach.
Yeah.
The ones that men.
Hey, you know what? It's a place for me to go sunbathe. I'm there.
If you have no other choice, it works.
Yeah. Which, in Alberta, you don't got
Yeah.
another choice, really, unless you're going up to Kananaskis.
Man-made or like expensive, busy mountain lakes.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay.
I got a pool, so
I got a little kiddie pool but I don't really get a lot of the right sun in my backyard, so that doesn't really help.
I got a pool and a balcony. That's all I need.
Fair.
Yeah. So some top attractions in the hat for you to do while you are passing through, as we assume. So Medalta, which is, quote, an industrial museum and contemporary art center framed by the dramatic cliffs of the South Saskatchewan River in Medicine Hat, Alberta. The description on Travel Advisor reads, and this is a direct quote,
I love this.
inhale the nostalgia.
Just breathe it right in.
As you walk the same floors as past factory workers. Learn and create while getting hands-on with a clay experience
Feel
taught
like
by
this
ceramic
section
artists.
Requires one of those like elevator music tracks. Inhale the nostalgia.
Ah.
Sweet, sweet nostalgia.
It gets even better though because it's like as you walk on the same floors as past factory workers.
If that's not a line to draw you in, I don't know what is.
We can't do any better than this. If this ain't getting you in, we're not getting you through that door. Anyway.
Where was I? Oh, so
you were talking about creating and stuff.
While getting hands-on with a clay experience taught by ceramic artists who are currently enrolled in our International Artists in Residence program. Immerse yourself in local culture with your knowledgeable tour provider, which they advise you book in advance for, which I don't see why. Maybe because they don't ever get any requests for it, so they need to actually book it. They need to call, oh, hey, Joe. Yeah, you actually have a tour on Sunday. You available?
Are you there? Are you good? Cool.
Can you be there? Because, yeah, first one this week.
First one this month.
Yeah.
First one this year.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully not now.
And complete your journey by indulging in local foods while connecting with Medicine Hat's growing creative community at various free to the public events. It has a 4.5 out of 5 on TripAdvisor, and sadly, we couldn't find any bad reviews for it. So there's
Shocking.
that. Yeah, that is shocking.
You know why? Because nobody has done it.
because no one's
Yeah.
gone.
Nobody really wants to go walk on
It
the
was
same floors
ranked
as past
super high,
factory
though.
workers.
By the one person who's ever done it.
Yeah, by the person who owns it.
Yeah.
Kind of throws off the statistics.
What? No.
Never.
The most prominent landmark in Medicine Hat, and which is sure to be in one of the first few pictures of the place if you Google it, is the sunniest teepee. It is described as being a tribute to Canada's native heritage, and was originally constructed for the 1988 Olympics that took place in Calgary. It was moved to the Hat in 1991 and has been there ever since. It's free to visit, and you'll find it just off Highway Number 1. It has a 4 out of 5 on TripAdvisor, and while most people enjoyed what they saw, a few people did not. In their 1-star review, Adam D. shares, not even really a teepee, it's not covered with skins or anything, so it's basically a bunch of steel shaped like a cone, and it's a hand-me-down from the 88 Olympics. There, I just saved you a trip. Andrea L. agrees, saying, terrible. It is pitiful that this is/was in the top 10 attractions in Medicine Hat. Not worth your time. It's in the top 10 because there probably aren't
There's like
even
9
There's
that
no other attractions in Medicine Hat, so there's that. And honestly, you can see it from the fucking highway. That's enough.
I do think, though, seriously, if you're going to go there, you may as well go take a picture of it.
You can take
the
a picture
only
of it
thing
as
I
you're
can-
driving
Like
by.
in front of it. Put it on your Instagram and move on, guys. And if you happen to be in Medicine Hat during the annual Stampede, which takes place next year from July 22nd to 25th, that's 2020 if you're listening to this in the future, you should definitely check it out. It's basically a smaller version of the Calgary Stampede that's less
Much
packed,
smaller.
and you don't have to wait in line for hours. It's also way less expensive. The Medicine Hat exhibition in Stampede also has a 4 out of 5 rating on TripAdvisor, with all but 2 people seemingly enjoying their time. In the 1-star review category, we have MDC, who said, it's like a carnival if you're not going to just watch the rodeo save your money. The only reason people go here is because there's nothing else to do in Medicine Hat. The nightly shows are basically old B-list rock bands that normally can be seen in some other city taverns. It's just, I said taverns.
You said taverns.
Oh, I said taverns. It might have come out weird.
Yeah, it did come out weird.
It
at first
just seems like the city never wants to spend any decent money on this attraction. And this guy sounds like such a winner. Cracker in a Dark World.
Just that name alone.
That
is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He adds that in over 2 decades since its existence, actually, I have not been to a night's show because they're all country acts. And older country acts at that. Nothing for the under 55 cent and nothing if you like better music. Which I'm not sure can be considered an actual review because he's considering he never went. He's also never been to a Stampede before, clearly, because
it's all about country music.
Yeah, it's
like
all about country.
All country. Except for there are some, like, at the Calgary Stampede, they have other bands or like rap artists. It is to cater to the younger crowd, and they can because they're bigger. And most of them, like the ones that when they have those kinds of musicians, they're at the free Coke stage.
Yeah, they're not bringing in.
They're at the free stage. The ones that you have to pay for are usually all country acts. There's the odd one.
Or two that aren't in here, but most of them are. Anyway, that is it for our lovely episode on Medicine Hat. If you want to connect with us online, we're at the Lady Dicks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We barely use Facebook. You can find us on Instagram or Twitter. You can find out more information about us and the show at theladydicks.com, or you can visit our travel companion blog, thespookytraveler.com. It's not the spooky, it's just spookytraveler.com with 2 L's in traveler. And
hashtag Canadian.
Yeah, we are Canadian, so that's why. You can find destination ideas, tips and tricks for traveling, city guides, and you'll also find like affiliate links there if you want to support us. So if you're shopping at Amazon, we've got affiliate links there and all that lovely stuff.
Yay.
And we'll see you next week.
In the meantime, try not to ghost anyone.
I just smacked my
chin on the mic.
Oh well, it's cool.